Back, Kult of Athena blade reviews. We've got the Windlass Persian Scimitar. I'm going to put the scabbard down really quick. This is a pretty lightweight blade. You'll see the handle is really awesome. Really good on weapon retention. It's a lightweight sword, really fast on slashes, really good maneuverability. We'll do some up close looks at this one in the scabbard, out of the scabbard, and I'm really excited to show you the cut testing on this one. Mark put a really awesome edge on this one. Mark's our sharpening guy, so thank you, Mark, for doing that so we can get these videos out to you. And let's get to it. All right, taking a look at the Persian Scimitar from Windlass. We have a really lightweight blade with an awesome wood-handled grip. This grip is actually really killer. It's a small grip, but it's nice and narrow. It allows it to funnel your hand in, so it's nice and secure. Let's look at the length on this one, a little bit over 35 inches, all the way from the very end of the handle to the very pointy tip that's been sharpened. Remember, Windlass blades come unsharpened, so if you do want to add a sharpening service to that, you gotta click the little check mark at cultofathena.com. Should take 2 to 4 business days if we're not super backed up, so just be patient with us if you are waiting on a blade that needs to be sharpened. We're making sure we service that to you. And then we have a blade itself, all the way from right before the guard to the very end of the tip, a little bit over 30 inches. We have a high carbon steel blade. Windlass uses high carbon steel for all their blades. And we have a very light blade, very versatile blade. This is a 1 pound, 8 ounce blade. And the blade itself being 30 inches, a little bit over, it's really easy to get cuts out with it. The slashing and the ability to get this back is actually really awesome. There's also what is considered to be like hooking thrust, where you can kind of like go around certain blades. I don't really put too much merit into that, but you do have a lot of still tearing with that. You still have back of the blade. Even though the edge is not sharp, it's still a sharp piece of steel and it's pointy. So if you were to bring that over, kind of come over the top with that for how pronounced the arc of this is, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be happy with the results on that. Traditionally, the Persian scimitars specifically was named the Shamshir, and it was far more swept back. So you'll see it's already very swept back, but it's actually described as being almost a half circle. So the cutting power on that, just like this one, is really, really huge on it. So the slashing is obviously the priority. You still have centerline thrust. It's basically what a lot of sabers are basically done with. So if you are doing more of things like punch cuts and things like that, or like little wrist manipulations, you still have the thrust. It's really easy to move with. Your hand does move a little bit, so I could see if you did want to play with, if you have the training for it, if you did want to change the grip and play with more of a saber grip, that little notch on the handle does allow you to do that. Obviously, this is assuming that you have training in that, but I could see that, or just a standard hammer grip to get this thing going would do just fine. Comes with a leather scabbard. It's a very standard leather scabbard that you'll see from Windlass. So there's no wood core to it at all. It's stitched on the back. You've seen dozens of these before in other reviews. Just finely stitched on the back. Steel tip. The actual steel on this is not like a polished steel. It's actually, it looks like it's got like a lacquer coating on it. That way it doesn't corrode, which is good news, especially if you live in a high humid area or if you're buying this in the summer. These coming from India, I'm sure that also plays into it. Draws out really nicely. Just make sure that you are not speed drawing this, because there's nothing holding, other than the actual leather, there's nothing holding it from going back. So make sure you are using the steel portion and you are not drawing it on the actual leather. So keep your hand protected. I wouldn't speed draw this anyway, but I know somebody's gonna probably ask. And this one, like I said before, like the sweeping cuts and everything that you're gonna see in the cut testing are really apparent, but these different punch cuts that you'll see in different saber fighting and these little dot thrusts are really easy to get the blade back. So I was surprised, based on this being a little bit over a 30-inch blade. I know that's not super long, but sometimes these blades come a little bit overbuilt in other companies, and just like the other scimitar that we just did, a lot heavier of a blade, 2 pounds, 9 ounces on that one from USS. So if you haven't seen that video, check the description of the video or go to our channel. But with this one, it's extremely versatile. The ability to get the blade back the ability to use the back of the blade as well, other types of ripping cuts is at your disposal with that. Looking at the handle, we have 2 pins on the handle. The handle is small, but it does offer you a lot of protection with that guard and the protection of this almost kind of like a pear shape on the end of the handle. It locks the hand in. So this is, again, like I said, it's a really small handle. It's not really skinny, it's pretty skinny, but it does mold to your hand. So this looks like, you know, it doesn't look like you have a lot of room just by looking at it like this, but you do have plenty of room to move your hand around. This slides right in, lines up with the guard. This guard, obviously, it's there just to have your hand not slide up the blade, but the ability to use this and get the blade back is really easy. So it's easy to control. I like the handle on it, aesthetically pleasing, good crossguard. Overall, pretty solid blade. Talked about it a good amount, so now let's go ahead and go to taking a look at this blade in the scabbard, now out of the scabbard, some up close looks at it, and then we'll go to the cut testing. Let's get to it. All right, taking a quick look at this blade up close, we'll see the 2 pins, hardwood handle, a very pronounced, I'm gonna call it more of a pear shape to the end of it. It really does lock in the hand in a really good way, still with a little bit of room. The wrist is not debilitated at all. And that's the lacquer coated steel that you're seeing here on this leather scabbard. We flip it around. You could lock this in as well if you wanted to wear this with a sword hanger if you're doing a reenactment, if you wanted just to know what it's like to wear a sword. We have plenty of accessories for that at cultofathena.com, and then the leather goods. So we took a look at some specs of this one, did some up close looks in the scabbard, out of the scabbard. Let's go ahead and go to the cut testing, and we'll go ahead and just see how this blade does. All right, so there you have it, the Windlass Persian Scimitar. This is a very lightweight, very agile scimitar. Took a look at some specs, some up close looks, some cut testing. Hope you enjoyed the cut testing as much as I did performing it and making sure that we get videos to you, quality videos, showing you what we offer at Kult of Athena. Vast amount of blades, armor, accessories, clothing for reenactments. And if you want to see more blades like this, more Persian blades, more scimitars or shamshirs in general, drop us a comment below. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you want to see, and we'll see you in the next one.